Welcome, everyone, to the Sunny Coast's very own podcast called the Referral Wave, Riding the Tide to Success. My name's Tony Cross, and by day I've got a business, Drive Connect Car Brokers. But today I'm with Peter from Freedom Broadband, and we're going to talk all things phone, internet, and everything else. Now, before we get started, Peter, I'm going to say from personal experience, the service I experienced with your company was by far one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. So
Uh,
thanks for that, and tell
No,
us a little bit about what you do.
no problems at all. Well, that's one of our main distinctives is the fact that we have great service. A lot of people hate their telco, their internet service provider, and so we are looking at filling that niche of connecting with people that really dislike some of the bigger telcos. I probably shouldn't name them, but one starts with T and the other starts with O. Um, yeah, so we're a smaller telecommunications company, internet service provider. We're located here on the Sunshine Coast, and we are based in Maroochydore, and all our support comes out of our Maroochydore office. We don't use overseas call centers, and we really focus on an exceptional customer experience. In fact, we have 112 five-star Google reviews, and pretty much all of them talk about our great customer service.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the great things of being set up here locally. And I mean, I guess everyone has their trigger points why they move eventually. And I had mine, and I'd known you for a bit of time in BNI, but I organised it in a traffic jam
You
and had
did.
it sorted by the time I got to the office. It's a fantastic story. But again, because you were there and you were local and I called in and picked the modem up, and it was all just done and easy, wasn't it? Because you're
Yep.
right there on our doorstep.
100%. So we're a store with a door, which again it can be unusual for some of the telcos. And we're upfront and personal. The Sunshine Coast is quite a parochial city. It loves to support local people, and so we're a local business employing local people and supporting local customers.
Yeah, great. So the services side, exactly what are you into? So you've got internet, phone service. What sort of other things
Yeah,
do you
so
do
we
there?
we provide residential and business internet. We also provide SIM-only mobile plans. So for $25 a month, you can have a SIM card that is unlimited calls, unlimited texts, and 10 gigs of data. We can port in your number so you keep your number. We also provide businesses with VoIP phones, like cloud phone services.
Yep,
So
yep.
uh,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
good.
yeah, so we have, some quite large businesses that we support and also some smaller businesses. So we can be flexible, and again, it comes down to service and being competitively priced.
So basically, communication wise for my business, you're a one-stop shop, handling
100%.
it from the phones right through to people on the road with mobiles
That,
and sorting out your internet, office and home.
yep, 100%.
Yeah, perfect. No, I love it. Great. Right. Well, what led you to joining BNI originally?
I was invited by a mate of mine, and I had never heard from BNI. I just moved from Darwin to Mooloolaba. Didn't really know anybody on the Sunshine Coast except my boss, who was a mate of mine, and yeah, was invited to BNI and just loved it. Uh, then yeah, basically joined a couple of weeks after I'd visited. I'd visited twice, and yeah, got the uh, got the application in, and here we are, nearly 4 years later.
Yeah, right. So it's been about 4 years. Good. And you're a member of Northern Lights, which is the largest and I'm going to say, with hesitance in my voice, the best chapter on the coast.
Well, I will just say humbly too, the best chapter for the last 4 years, just for the record. Uh, don't
Right. So no,
I don't want to
no
put the bit
coincidence that no coincidence that it's been the best chapter since you've been there, right?
that I've never drawn the link, but that's beautiful. I love it.
There'll be some people watching having some comments about that for sure. Yeah, so Northern Lights is a great chapter. What are you running? About 34 members at the moment, I think, are you?
Yes, yep, about that.
Yeah.
We've got two applications in at the moment, which is great.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and that chapter's been in the 40s before, I believe.
Yeah, when I joined, we were 42.
Yeah,
And it ebbs and flows.
yeah.
I've just finished being president at the end of March. We peaked at 38. And then, yeah, we've had a few people leave just because I've got too busy. And that's, that's fair enough. That's what happens. Chapters ebb and
Yeah,
flow.
yeah, that happens. I've never seen anyone leave BNI because they didn't like it. I've either seen them leave because they didn't use it to their advantage and they didn't get the processes, like in the giver's gain
And
mentality and
that
or
happens.
they've only left because they've, got too busy and couldn't, handle the time
Yep.
anymore. So,
Yep.
oh, that's good. So, look, tell us a little bit about how you've used BNI to enhance your networking and to gain referrals for your business.
Yeah, look, one of the reasons I joined BNI is that I saw the incredible potential of having, you know, 35 people, say, that are in your corner, that are out looking for opportunities for your business. And I think that's amazing. So I just love the whole referral process and the fact that it's not just a networking group. I've attended networking groups before, and you go to those groups and you shake hands and you eat some finger food and then you go home and you never hear from anyone again. Whereas the posture of BNI members is I'm looking for opportunities to promote Freedom Broadband, as I am looking for opportunities to promote, whether it be a plumber or a electrician or whoever's in my chapter. I'm looking for opportunities to promote their business, and I just think that's just brilliant.
Yeah, and you've hit it right on the head and that's what I meant before when people leave because they don't get it. That what they don't understand is they're not taking time away from their business to go to BNI. They're there to treat BNI. If you do it properly, you're there. BNI as a client, and you've got those 33 people in the room, in your case, all out there looking for opportunities for you, and you're looking for opportunities for all those people as well.
100%.
Um, it works perfectly, doesn't it? Yeah, that's
I,
great to hear.
I remember when I first joined, and I started to have a look at some of the time that it's going to take. And I remember remarking to my boss, BNI is going to take some time out of my workday. But I determined if I'm going to spend the money, or my company's going to spend the money, then I'm going to work it. And so, I've worked it and focused on it. And I think the mistake that new people can make is they go in, kind of feel overwhelmed by the time demands, and so they just don't work it.
Yeah,
Whereas I've tried to really focus in to push in. And again, if I'm gonna turn up to Northern Lights at 6:30 on a Wednesday morning, I want to make sure that I'm there and I'm present and I'm pushing in. I live in Gympie, so I leave at 5:30 in the morning, so it's extra painful for me to get there. But I do it because I just love it. The people are great, and it's worked really well for Freedom Broadband.
yes. Yeah, no, perfect. Well said. Look, how have you used BNI to solve any problems you've had in your business? Like, I mean, you hear a lot of people use people in BNI to help them with their stuff. Have you got any stories, around that?
Um, I guess for me, it's not about solving problems. It's about having new customers, and BNI for me has just been fantastic. I've had some really great people that have referred me a lot of business. Property managers for me are just brilliant, because they're always dealing with people that are moving into a new property, and so therefore recommending, that they're going to need internet, and recommending Freedom Broadband has been fantastic.
Yeah, yep, yeah. No, that's good. Hey, when it comes to your success in BNI, and I know you just talked about the property managers, but have you got any sort of standout stories, from referrals or anything like that you can share with our listeners?
Yeah, look, the property manager ones would be the best.
Yeah,
And our current property manager in Northern Lights is a lady called Sue Bender, and she worked a lot with new properties down in the Aura area. And there were some shockers there where NBN had wrongly registered addresses, or they buried the pit 6 months ago and nobody could find it. And so I've had some significant challenges with some of those properties down there. But the great thing about Freedom Broadband is we just continue to pursue NBN until we can get those connections over the line. And so I've really appreciated Sue as a property manager recommending us to her clients.
Yeah, so is that so property managers, they're good leads for you? And I guess obviously anyone in a business and everything, but yeah, the property managers and new home builds, that's
Yeah, look, anybody that deals with anyone that is moving. So
yeah,
that can be a removalist, a conveyancer, a real estate agent, a buyer's agent, and a property manager. Anyone
yeah.
dealing with anyone that's changing houses, because that's an opportunity for me to come in and basically sign them up, get them as a customer.
And doesn't have to be like if someone's watching this podcast from down in Brizzy, doesn't have to be on the coast, does it?
We have customers in every state and territory in Australia.
There you go.
So yeah, no, we're not bound. Some people think that we're a franchise and that we can just operate just in the Sunshine Coast. We're not a franchise. We're a standalone company, and we can sign up anyone anywhere. So
Yeah,
like I've got multiple customers in Darwin, for example, and yeah, so all over Australia.
yeah. No, that's good to know because yeah, I guess a lot of people would think just by default they have to go to one of those big telcos, don't they? I get, a lot of people wouldn't understand that there are other, local
Other
options.
alternatives, yeah. And
Yeah,
and look, one,
options.
one of the issues is, um, and I don't want to insult anybody, but Australian consumers are generally lazy.
Yeah,
And so we don't compare health insurance rates, and we don't change telcos, even though like a telco might be frustrating us, and we don't want to wait on hold for 38 minutes to speak to somebody overseas that doesn't care. But the problem is that Australians will tolerate that, rather than saying, I've had a gut full of this. I'm going to go to a company that I'm going to get Peter's mobile phone. Anytime there's a problem, I can just ring him. I don't have to wait on hold. I'm talking to somebody that's Aussie, and yeah, that will fix any issues fast.
yeah. So I guess a question for me on the mobile phone side of things is, if I swap my phones to Freedom Broadband, are they getting the same coverage as Telstra and those sort of things?
So with the mobile phone services, all the carriers have to use one of two towers. It's either the Optus towers or the Telstra towers.
Yeah,
It doesn't work like that for NBN. Often I'm asked, whether we're using the Telstra infrastructure for NBN. It doesn't work like that in the NBN world, but in the mobile service world, yes, we use the Optus towers. So for the Sunshine Coast, like I'm obviously my mobile phone is with Freedom, and I don't have any issues with any service anywhere on the Sunshine Coast. There's a kilometre just south of Gympie where it drops out, and I lose service for a kilometre. Apart from that, the Sunshine Coast there's no issues.
yeah. So people don't have to worry about not getting as good of service, I mean coverage service, when they swap over because, as you say, they all use the
Definitely.
same sort of yeah, same sort of things. No, fantastic. So, given your journey to date, have you got any advice you'd give anyone listening, to this podcast today about their journey in BNI?
Look, if you're in BNI, number one, lean in. You've paid your membership, you pay your breakfast fees, if it's a breakfast meeting. But so lean in. Do your one-to-ones. Invite your visitors, do your CEUs, all that kind of thing. Look for referrals, and be an exceptional BNI member. Don't just sit back and go, well, I, I can't do it. Lean in and make it happen. The other thing I'd suggest too is do cross-chapter one-to-ones.
Yeah,
That's how you and I met, Tony.
yeah,
Cross chapter. If you're in the green and you're invited to the Pareto club that Avi runs, I'd encourage you to go to that too, because it's great speed networking, and again, I get lots of business out of the Pareto. I get lots of business out of the cross chapters. So yeah, encourage people to do cross chapters. Come and visit us at Northern Lights. You're always welcome as a guest.
yeah. So, look, just now going back to when your time as president, let's talk about the Go for Green and the traffic light system. Is it fair to say that whilst it's gamified to a degree, because everyone's got to be in the green, is it fair to say that if you're in the green, you're making the most out of your BNI experience?
That's the whole point of the traffic lights. If you're in the green, then yes, you're leaning in and making the most of your experience. If you're in the yellow, try a little bit harder and get into the green. I was hoping to get everybody in Northern Lights in the green when I was president, which I didn't actually achieve. And kudos to the new president, Alex, who now has less people in the yellow than when I was president. So she's doing great.
Yeah, but yeah, people see it as a bit of a measure sometimes in the wrong way, don't they? They think, oh God, I've got to get these bloody traffic lights. But I mean, fundamentally they're there, and if you're in the green, you're making the most of your journey, aren't you?
Yeah, and again, you can either be negative about it, or you can just go, this is an indicator of how much I'm leaning into BNI. And one of the um, uh, givers gain characteristics is accountability, and it keeps you accountable.
Yeah, no, 100%. Fantastic words of advice there. So, look, what's next for your business? Any exciting projects on the horizon for Freedom?
Well, NBN are rolling out fibre to the premise upgrades. We can thank Malcolm Turnbull when he was communications minister for dumbing down our internet in Australia. Morocco has better internet than Australia does, and really they should have wired every house up fibre to the premise up front. I know now that like suburbs like Aura, all the new houses now are all fibre to the premise. Again, I live at South Side in Gympie, and it's a new subdivision. And again, all the houses have fibre to the premise. So what they're doing now is, because most of the Sunshine Coast is fibre to the node, which is an okay way of getting the internet, but not the best, they're now choosing the suburbs that are the dodgiest in terms of infrastructure, like the oldest, and they are rolling out the fibre to the premise upgrade, which we can organise for any customer, providing they're in an eligible suburb or an eligible street. And yeah, they can just contact me, and anyone can contact me at any time, and I can look up the portal, look up their address, and let them know whether they're eligible for fibre.
So, just to clarify for people, is that what you did at my house? Because the boys had to run something from out on the street to the house. Is that what you did at? I don't know if
What.
you
Yeah.
remember or not.
Yeah.
So the fibre to the node means it's out on the street.
So there's three main ways of getting internet. One is fibre to the node, which means there's a pit within a kilometre or two of your house, and the fibre runs into the pit and then gets connected to the old phone copper wires, and then gets delivered to your house. So you plug your modem into your phone port.
Yeah,
The
right.
next one is fibre to the curb, which means that you have fibre running past your house, but it still connects into the old phone wires. And again, you have a device called a HFC box, and that plugs into the phone port, and then the modem plugs into that. Fibre to the premise is where they pull the fibre actually into your house, and your modem plugs directly into the fibre. That's the
Yeah,
best. That's the best way of getting the internet.
yeah, which is what the boys did at my house because they ran a new cable and a new
Yeah.
run it through the ceiling and a whole thing. Yeah, okay, cool. All right.
and
Well, that
and
just
and that and that fiber to the premise upgrade is free. So NBN are
yeah,
doing that for free, providing you're on a 100 megabit per second plan.
yeah,
Um,
because these poor buggers had to dig a trench, they had to cut through a bit of a concrete slab, they had to run it through the like their work was outstanding. I couldn't believe it. And
yeah, and what did it cost you? Nothing.
no, nothing. I got cheaper, faster internet, and I did it all while sitting in the traffic.
Sitting in traffic jam. Love it.
Yeah, no, fantastic. All right, cool. Oh, that probably explained it for a few people, so that's good. Hey, listen, what's one of the core values of BNI that resonates with you?
Relationships.
Yeah,
Again, when I moved down from Darwin, didn't know anybody on the Sunshine Coast. And so just being in BNI, doing cross chapters, well, doing lots of one-to-ones. The first year I didn't do any cross chapters, just focused on having multiple one-to-ones with everyone in Northern Lights. Once I'd been there a year, then I started doing cross chapters. And yeah, I've now got this huge network of not just business associates, but also friends. It's been great.
yeah, no, fantastic. And how can listeners get in touch with you to find out a bit more about Freedom Broadband?
They can go to freedombroadband.com.au, go to our website. One of the things that you'll find on our website is that most businesses in Australia either don't have a phone number on their website or they hide it. So it's like Where's Wally competition to try and find a phone number. When you go to freedombroadband.com.au, the first thing you'll see on the homepage is my beautiful face and my mobile number. It pops up, it's there, and people can ring me, no problems at all. If I don't answer, leave a message and I'll call you straight back.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, look, I've always wanted to get you on the podcast, Peter, and it's been fantastic because I have been a recipient, as I've mentioned, of your great service.
Awesome.
And I would encourage everyone to give you a call, even just to troubleshoot the myths and the what's out there, so you get some straight answers.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't cost anything to give me a call.
Yeah.
We make some inquiries. If I can help you, I certainly will.
Well, there you go, people. If you're listening, give Peter a ring. Not only is he an ex-president of the best chapter on the Sunshine Coast, apart from BNI Business Sunrise, but he's also a telecommunications guru. So hook yourself up with Peter, have to one-to-one, or go as a visitor, and I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it. Thanks very much for being on the podcast, Peter.
No worries at all, Tony. Thanks for the opportunity.
And we'll see you around the coast soon.